Welcome to Sunday at Unity of Daytona Beach, the podcast. Each week we share the message, meditation, and other special moments from our Sunday service. So take a breath, open your heart, and let this be a source of encouragement, reflection, and spiritual growth for you on your journey.
I'm sure we can all feel that right now in our hearts. The presence of the Lord is here with us now and always. Let's prepare for this sacred, sweet time together by closing our eyes if that's comfortable. Maybe placing your hand on your heart, feeling your heartbeat, feeling God within us right here, right now. Taking a couple of deep breaths to ground us in to this very present sacred moment. One more breath. Settling into your chair, feeling your body relax, so that we can slow the thinking mind and get into our hearts, our bodies, and our souls right now. Feeling this deep presence and awareness of our hearts beating, of our breath coming in and out. Really being here right now. This service is such a special service for the white stone that we want to be in our hearts for. Feeling that heart beating and the chakra, the green chakra growing, enveloping your body and around you to the people near you. Feel that green vibration going out to the whole community, to our nation, our world, with our love and our support. And our consciousness that all is well because God's got this. Now coming back to our own heart. What is your soul saying today? What is it that you want? What do you want for this new year? Not what our thinking mind wants, what our soul wants. It's very different. Let's take a couple minutes in the silence as we connect to our hearts and our souls. as we oh so gently come back to this time and this space, with our hearts open, we are prepared. We are prepared for our new year and our message today. Take a deep breath. Thank you, God, for this time together. We are so very blessed.
So the Bible tells us that, behold, I make all things new. It's one of my favorite scriptures. It's from the last book of the Bible that I think has been so misused, because the truth is Revelation is full of hope for us. Behold, I make all things new. Will you say that with me? Behold, I make all things new. So that means today, this very day, is the first day of the rest of your life. Right? And I love Unity because of our understanding that our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, and ideas create the world in which we live. Amen? I am not a victim to life. Yes, we see life happening everywhere. But interestingly, several people recently have said, this last year is one of the best years personally I've ever had, even though I see the world going crazy. Right? For many of us, that's been true because we've stayed true to ourselves, our faith, and our walk with God, right? Right? So we know our happiness is not decided with outside conditions. That said, we care very deeply about what happens in the world. We're not living in some like weird, spiritual denial. In fact, we can totally see what's happening in the world. And we know the one thing we can do is change ourselves. And that then we walk through the world more healed people, right? Yes. Well, a lot of times when I talk about ideas like this, and I love this idea of all things new, people say, but you don't know what happened to me before. They start giving me all kind of reasons they can't move forward. And I said, well, in the Hebrew Bible, it says, I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. That's from Joel. That's a book we don't talk about often in Unity. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. So, my friends, we've all had our locusts, but restoration is ours today. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. It's right here, right now. And when I look at Jesus and when I look at the scriptures, Jesus never said, I've got to go think about it. The miracle was now. The time was now. There was enough now. So everything you're needing is here, right now. There's nothing that you need that you don't have right now, that you have access to. I'm not saying you're aware of it, but you have access to it. Right? Yes. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. So if you start to think bigger thoughts about your life and world, and then you have all the reasons you can't have it, I want you to remember me saying that. You say, that barefoot preacher said it. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. Behold, I make all things new. We just claim that for ourselves. And, with the kids, best year ever. One of my favorite Unity teachers, his name was Phil Pearson. He used to say, the best is yet to be. I love that idea. Will you say it with me? The best is yet to be. The best is yet to be. That means more good is not only coming to me, but through me. So the reason we started today, and by the way, thank you, Lisa. It was a beautiful meditation. I wasn't sure, though. Did you all write a word on your stone yet? Some of you did, some of you didn't. That's all right. That's all right. And ushers, eventually, somebody bring me one up here. Don't worry about interrupting me. Just set it right here. But I want to talk to you a little bit about setting a sacred intention. So the difference between me setting an intention and me receiving the word from Spirit in white stone is that sometimes we get overly attached to personality wants and desires. Does that make sense? right? So I'm not saying you don't set your intention, because desire is, Charles Fillmore called it the onward impulse of the ever-evolving soul. That as we desire, that desire pulls us forward into our next stage in life. It pulls us forward to try new things, to be in different kind of friendships or relationships, or change jobs, or, those kind of things. It's the desire to know and experience more. So desire is holy when it's about our spiritual journey. We know there's all kind of desire. We don't need to, you could say, well, if I'm an alcoholic and I desire a drink, is that holy? No, that's a low vibe desire. We're talking about high vibe desires. Are you with me on that? Yep. Right. So when we are seeking, thank you so much. When we're seeking to get God's guidance in the white stone, what we're saying is not my will, thy will be done. Thy will be done. And is there something that God is calling me to that from the level of the mind, I don't know yet? Because the truth is, friends, so much of life we live at the level of the mind, and we are called to live from the soul, the spirit of us, right? And so white stone, the idea is, God, what is your guidance for me? What is my call in this coming year? And I want to give you a couple of examples so you understand what I mean. So years ago, when I was doing white stone, it was funny because I was sitting at Unity of Phoenix. Unity of Phoenix, I worked there as an associate minister. It was a really large ministry. I learned so much there. We had, 3 services on Sunday, 5 at Easter. I mean, it was just really a different thing. It was on TV and big screens on the floors, behind me there was a screen where my head was as big as a car. It was really strange thing for ministry, But anyway, it was a big learning. And my last January there, we did a white stone. And I thought it was strange because I got a word, Renaissance. I thought, I mean, this is out of nowhere, this word. And I had seen it written in red, which was also weird. Those old felt tip pens, they have little lines on them, and there's a little white dot on the cap, and you pull it off and you write with those. The kind of red pen I'm talking about? Like, it was that detailed in my mind, what to write on here, Renaissance. So I waited. I went to the little office store. I bought one of those pens, and I wrote it just like it came in my mind. And I had no idea what it meant. And every day, I would take the stone into my meditation time, and I would just sit it right in front of me, and I'd pray on that Renaissance. And I was like, is it new? Am I supposed to study art and music from the Renaissance? Am I in a Renaissance? Am I supposed to go to the Renaissance fair? Am I going to meet somebody special there? What is happening? What is happening with this word? I was working it every day. And then it got to the point, I said, this is ridiculous. I have no idea what this means. None. And so I just kind of let go. Well, then a little bit later that year, still working with us every day, I applied for a job in Orlando. And it was wild. In Orlando, Florida. And it was my first senior minister job, even though I'd worked in churches, for years. And as I landed at the airport and was on my way to where I was staying, I passed a hotel called Renaissance, written exactly like I'd seen it in my mind. It was a red and white sign. I said, okay, got it. Yeah, applied, got the job, started in February that next year. So often the word comes and we have no idea most of the year. That wasn't until November, even though I'd gotten the word in January. But it had deepened my journey because of my yearning to know. I had another friend get a word, and she said she was a prayer chaplain. I have her permission to share it. She came up to me. This is at Phoenix, too. She goes, Rev. She was real sweet. She was a hospice nurse for kids, and she always wore like all these little sparkles around her eyes to be real magical with the kids. And so she came to me, and she holds her stone like this. She goes, I don't get it. Rev, what does this mean? what are these words? What are these letters? I don't even know what this is. And I wrote it down. I said, I think you should go on the internet and look it up and see what it means. And she goes, okay. So a little bit later, she goes, well, it's an Irish word. And it turns out I'm doing some genealogy work right now, my history. I was adopted from Ireland. It took her on this journey of self-awareness, of her history, of her genealogy, of her life path, and also what was to come, why she was so called to work with children, because she had been abandoned at a young age. And the only thing she had from that time was a little blanket still from Ireland. That was all from her little white stone ceremony. See, when we work this, friends, this can be very, very powerful. Another friend of mine said, I got nothing. You Unity people are weird. I like going this. I'm not one of these feelers. I don't see it. I'm not there. I said, that's all right. Hang in there. No. They said, I'm not getting anything. I said, how busy are you? What do you mean? How busy are you every day? I said, well, I don't have time off. I said, time to clean the slate. And he looked at me, he goes, I hate you. You Unity people drive me nuts. It's interesting, that same guy called me a couple months ago, told me I changed his life. An unbelievable call. One of the best calls of my career. Military guy. Yeah, military guy. Career military. Special forces. You can't believe. Incredible human being. He's now working as a psych nurse. Yeah. All from that little white stone, friends. It's amazing what God can do. So sometimes if you don't get a word, it doesn't mean necessarily clean slate. It could mean that. It could mean you need to sit in meditation longer until you get it. That also happens. I've had people get foreign words, as I said, words that they don't understand. I've had people get words like that they have no idea. Like one person said, I got sunflower. I don't get it. I said, pray on it. Pray on it. I don't have the answers. This is your word. This is between you and God. And this is what the white stone is. It's about you and your walk. 1 year I got the word power. It's a single word. 1 year I got quiet. Can you imagine me getting that word? I said, God does have a sense of humor. So, you just never know. It's about your walk with God. It's about your walk with God, yeah. I've also gotten words that I never really connected with. I say, am I a spiritual failure? What I didn't get it. But it's okay. We just work with it. Sometimes it's about the work. It's not about the result. It's about just the journey. That journey inward to our heart and soul. So I want to make sure that you know the sacredness of this practice. It's not just a little throw-out thing. It's really a wonderful, can be a deepening of your spiritual journey if you allow it. And I really encourage you looking at it every single day, whether it's, a spot that you pray or by the bed or, if you read at night, just look at it before you go to sleep. Ask Spirit's guidance in the dream state. Just, work with it. But our work, once we get that guidance, is in setting our own intentions, our desires to move forward. So Spirit works with us both ways. It's not like I only can get my sacred guidance and then I have no desire. Of course, we're humans. We want things. We're learning, we're growing, we're changing. So both are true. We're going to ask God's guidance, and then we set those sacred intentions, but not spiritual resolutions that don't mean anything. Right? Some of us set resolutions and we've forgotten them already, right? Yeah, there was a study that said over 90% of Americans have forgotten their resolutions 7 days after they set them. Right? Because they're not grounded in spiritual consciousness. So we want ours to be sacred intentions. And so I'm working with that myself. I've already, so many of us did White Stone where we release the year, and that helps us be more open and available to, what are our next steps? Because we want to be mindful. We want to be spiritual. We want to be guided in our process. And so that's what we seek to do, is bring our spirituality into our next steps. It's not about having more. If you're in Unity, you know that. It's not about having more. It's about being more. It's about being more of the goodness that God has for us in the world. And how do I individually do that? How do I know that? How do I experience that? And then how do I give that out as a blessing wherever I go? For some of us, it might be a new job or income level. That's great. That's a very holy and sacred intention. It may be, how am I being called to be of service to the kids of the ministry? I have a skill. Can I use it here? It might be to mend a relationship with a child or a loved one. Yeah, so just dial in with that with me, if you will, to be asking Spirit, what are my next steps on this journey? What is my sacred guidance for the year? So let's just go into a short time of prayer on this. Let's just go into a short time of prayer. Since you didn't all do your stone yet, let's take a moment and breathe. And God, we are simply open to receiving your guidance for us. Help us receive the word that is written on our hearts. As Eric plays and you do the work of your soul, if you get the word, feel free to write it on your stone at any time. If you prefer to do it in private, that is wonderful. We trust you to know your heart and soul and what your process is. We give you space now to do this work in consciousness. As we rest in this place, we ask God, what is our call? What is this new energy where you're calling us to? Guide us, direct us as we wait a few moments and do the work of our soul as we listen. We now take a moment to give thanks for all the spiritual support we are receiving. Thank you, God, for Jesus the Christ who showed us the way. Thank you for the prophets of old that taught us. I will restore the year the locusts have eaten. And behold, all things are made new. I make all things new, as the writers of Revelation told us. Help us, God, to listen to these promises as just that, as promises. Believing that you love us. Believing that new, good, holy, and sacred is available to us right in this moment. No matter what happened before, right now, we are blessed. We are supported. We are lifted into this new energy. This new energy. And for this, we are grateful. We are blessed Together we say, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. Will you say that with me? I am so grateful, I am so blessed. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you for joining us for Sunday at Unity of Daytona Beach, the podcast. We're grateful to walk this path with you. May the words and practices you've heard today continue to bring you peace, inspiration, and spiritual growth as you move through your week. A production of the Soulworks Group, Incorporated. You're listening to the Experience of the Soul podcast channel, bringing you inspiration, teachings, and practices to support your spiritual journey.